our own views on things and how we watch the sport and how we watch the game and things like that. And we'll never make any apologies, especially on this episodes as well. But yeah, we just come back off We've just come off a defeat from Arsenal, 3-1. I got some views on this today, so I'm gonna go into them as well. But we have with us Afsa and Tej. Tej, how you doing, boys? Afsa, you okay?
All good. Bit good with the result, but yeah, apart from that, all good.
Yeah, man. I'm not too bad. I think I'm not as disappointed as people probably think I should be, but we'll get into that anyway.
Yeah, no, you know what? I'm kind of there as well. I think my anger kind of lies with the fans themselves. And when I'm talking about fans, Manchester United fans, it just amazes me. But before we go into that, Ted, I'm like you, I'm not too annoyed at the result, as mad as it sounds, because I think he was going to go either way. He was going to either win or he was going to lose. I don't think there was a draw wasn't an option. But I think the way we've lost. If we would have played rubbish and we got played off the park, because the 3-1 doesn't do it justice whatsoever. But I think I got confidence in the way we played. But go on, give me your view. Why aren't you as annoyed? Why were you raging as some of these fans I'm seeing?
I don't like being that guy that says, I told you so. I didn't think this, because I think it's a complete cop out. But I did go.
Mate, isn't that what everybody's built on nowadays? I told you, this is what etc. Yeah.
Yeah, one individual in particular is quite known for it. but no, I definitely went into this game and I didn't think that we'd get a result. I didn't think we'd get a performance. And I was really impressed the fact that, Onana, he come into his own today, and I was just loving that. Even when they conceded, he was like, calm down. I loved what I saw. And I just think, fans are just getting too excited again. I mean, it's a tough place to go. Our record there hasn't been great. I know we've been, we've caught them off guard on a few occasions. We've rode our luck at times. And unfortunately, VAR didn't work for us this time. But, we all thought when Garnacho was celebrating, we thought, that's it, we've stolen it. And that's what it would have been. It would have been a stolen victory. But you know what? It shows that, players didn't have that belief, that concentration all the way to the end. And unfortunately, we just got caught with a sucker punch. I think 3-1 is definitely not a flattering scoreline. I think if someone said, look, 2-1, I would have accepted that. 3-1, I don't know how that's the case. That third goal should have never happened. But the positives from me, it was just so nice and refreshing to see a striker come on and forget anything else. Someone who actually puts effort in, who was prepared to flip in the first couple of minutes. He's bashing up Gabriel.
First couple of minutes, the first thing he does, just
first
gets him on the floor, doesn't he? Yeah,
gets him on the floor. Come on, pass me the ball, give me the ball. That presence, and I'm thinking, even Casemiro. There's a little clip, you'll see it. Casemiro runs up to him in the corner and basically just grabs him and says, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. That's what we brought you for. You show us you're the man. You deserve, you know what, forget the age. Genuinely, I was worried thinking he's going to be, he looks like he's got more bite about him than some of these senior players. I know I could get a bit excited. It's only 15, 20 minutes or whatever he played, but it's just positive and it's nice to see. And I'm hoping that we do start playing more frequently, because I think he's definitely going to add a lot more value than Martial. What did Martial do today? Really, did he actually do anything apart from get fouled? I didn't really see much sort of value from him. But just to finish up then in terms of the positives, Gary Neville did a great piece on it at the end of the game. That's the best we've controlled and defended off the ball all season, because we were shocking against Wolves, shocking against Forest, 2 goals in 5 minutes, and Spurs, we got ripped apart second half. So it's good to see. But again, there's a lot of problems there still. And yep, I'm Maguire's biggest fan, that. But at the same time, when I saw him with Johnny Evans and that partnership, I was instantly worried for him. It meant we had to change the tactics. But I also think tactics changing or not, the fact that we were playing that way in the first half showed that we don't physically, we don't have enough. But yeah, that's my viewpoint on it. But what's your views, Hobbs?
Yeah, you know what? I'm similar. I'm just going to go to Afsal actually, just before I start going in. Afsal, your views?
I echo a lot of what Tej just said. I don't think the performance was at all that bad, really. I think, as you know, again, as Ted said, as Neville said, off the ball, we're a lot better than we have been, and I think that showed in Arsenal's performance. Early on, they didn't press us as much as we normally see them press anyone else. Is that because we've now got a goalkeeper who plays a bit more front-footed, a bit higher up? So it negates that press, which is good. I think Dalot started poor, but defensively he pulled it back, man. Obviously, the last goal's the last goal. You know, you can say what you want. But other than that, I think Anthony, decent game. Bruno had a very good game. I'm impressed with Rashford a little bit. I think Rashford really got stuck in. Yeah, he's on his favoured left side now. But look, whether it's the left side, the right side, down the middle, you still got to put that in. And there's still a long way to go for him, right? Garnacho, for me, he's not offside. I'm sorry, but that is not an offside.
Yeah, you know what? I don't want. The reason why I don't want to get into the semantics of is he offside or not offside, because although it doesn't, you know, that all famous, result. The goal for you. They even themselves out. These calls do. They don't. They don't even themselves out. It was like I said, splitting hairs. It could have gone for us. You know, it didn't go for us this week, but it will go for us next week. You know, so I'll accept that. Yeah. But like you boys said, I think the performance on the whole was good. Arsenal didn't really do much. You know, like you said, we've now got Onana. What a keeper, man. You know, who's controlling the back line. Remember before, we had David De Gea, and you had Aaron Wan-Bissaka who passed it to, then he gets pressured, and then the other player gets pressured, and it used to just get a mess, and then that was it. We just used to get compacted in. But today, you could just see Onana come into his own. It looks like he's obviously got used to it. The players have now got used to him as well. So he's saying, you go there, you know. I think like what Ted was saying, you know, he kind of dictates the game from the back. So that was a good footing. And then, like I said, I can't remember many, you know, shots where he had to save in the first half. But, you know, obviously, if you look at the game as a whole as well, as soon as you said, Rasmus Højlund come on, just the passion, just the mobility that he showed, you know what I mean? The strength to hold it up. You could see all of a sudden, as soon as he came on, we were attacking more. It wasn't by coincidence, do you know what I mean? We started attacking more. But then, you know, you got the whole thing with actually Martinez gets himself a yellow card, rushes into a challenge. By the looks of things, he's okay. You know, he's not injured. I think he's walking away. He's not in a cast or anything like that. So he's obviously done something to himself whereby he just felt he couldn't continue. So we've had to bring Maguire on. Yeah.
It's the metatarsal. It's actually the metatarsal. Heart.
Yeah, but he's walked away. I've just seen there's pictures of him and videos of him walking away.
Yes. So what it appears is, Harps, just on that, is that he basically, they're not risking it, because even though he broke his metatarsal and he's recovered from it, it can still like hairline fracture again.
Yeah.
So as soon as he has impact on
he has to.
Yeah.
He's probably just throbbing. You know, he's probably still tender as such. You know what I mean? Where it's going to take him a bit of time. But then Maguire comes on. Now, you know what? I'm not going to say anything about Maguire in terms of his ability or anything like that, because at the end of the day, he was there today through his fault, you know, his own fault or not, do you know what I mean? Whether anybody thinks he's a good enough player or not, I think we've all got our opinions on here, but he was there. So I personally thought, you know what, I'm going to back him, you know. And then Lindelof, I don't know, again, what happened to him. He's limping a bit, but he was gassing. Okay, then he had to come off. At that point, I think it was 1-1, wasn't it? Obviously, Garnacho scored, and, you know, but at that point, it was 1-1. And we've had to bring on a 35-year-old Johnny Evans, a Maguire who we've accepted a bid for and doesn't leave. Do you know what I mean? So all of a sudden, you've got players in the back who aren't Manchester United quality, who aren't there to, you know, to be going for a title. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, this is where I'll get perplexed from the fans. They're blaming the players. Like I said, Harry Maguire isn't United quality. Do you know what I mean? People are blaming him for the second goal, a deflection. It happens. Do you know what I mean? He was there, but he shouldn't be on the pitch in the first place.
You know what? Can I just jump in on the Maguire topic there? I think he's a very easy person to scapegoat.
Easy target at the moment, yeah.
In particular with this fan base. But yeah, just to him and Evans being the centre-back partnership of choice at that specified moment in time, that's not down to him. That's not down to Evans. That's not down to the management. That's down to the ownership. That's down to the CEO and the director of football. We were linked with Kim Min-jae at one point in the summer, right? And then, it's agreed he's going to... All the Italian reports from within Naples, right? Bear in mind he plays for Napoli, so within Naples, were saying he's going to Man United. He's going to Man United. Bam, window opens, he's gone Bayern Munich. Then it was Disasi. Linked with him. Bam, he's gone Chelsea. Then it was Todibo. Now he's staying at Nice. And you end up with Johnny Evans, who, no disrespect to the guy, did a lot for this club. Absolute stalwart in English football. But he's 35. This high tempo, high pressing, high line game is not for him.
You know what I'm seeing people, Eric Ten Hag out. I mean, what do people not realise this cycle? Do you know what I mean?
They're not fans. They're acting on emotion. They're not fans. They don't know football. They're just talking absolute nonsense.
I think they're just chasing the clout. I think, Ted.
Yeah, you know what it is as well. Another thing they're jumping onto is this, and I've seen the images go around. His away record against the Big Nine. On the flip side, his home record against the Big Nine is absolutely pathetic. Some of these fans are getting so excited. I agree with you. The Maguire bashing is just a scapegoat, easy target. But let's just be real about the game, right? The game itself, Arsenal didn't turn up today. Arsenal are still not in second gear. They're not playing well. They're getting results. And you know what? Fair play to them. They're getting results, yeah? Liverpool, where everyone thinks it's going to be a disaster, they're getting results. They've played some big games. They've played Chelsea. They've played United. They've played Newcastle away.
They're not playing United. Do you mean Newcastle United?
Yeah, Newcastle United.
Yeah.
And they've also played Chelsea as well. They've got some good results on the board. Yes, you could look at it on the flip side and say we played Spurs and Arsenal away. It's done. But Spurs and Arsenal, yeah, okay, so be it. But we've got 6 points, right? 6 points already to Man City. It's a massive, depressing thing to hear and think about. And Maguire and Evans are getting the brunt end of it. When the reality is the problem stems from the top going all the way down. The uncertainty around the club is horrible. And you know what? I love the fact that Gary Neville's called out the owners again today, and he said, "Look." Because the news reporter, the guy who's actually the main pundit who's doing the questioning, he goes, apparently there's rumours that they're not selling. And Gary Neville said, no, they are selling. And he summed up a great, he goes, they can't even comply with FFP to get players in at the moment. It's absolutely embarrassing.
They're just using FFP as an excuse.
Yeah, they have to sell. It's a sinking ship. Otherwise, I'm telling you, it's just embarrassing. And we just got to go through this torture for a bit more longer. I'm hoping that it works out better for us.
But this is Ted. This is where I'm getting pissed off from and angry. Look, I don't mind having a debate, having a conversation, and I wish people would tell me as well. Yeah, how we've had the Glazers in 18 plus years, okay, and we all know Fergie, the greatest manager probably of all time. You know what I mean? He kept us afloat as well as we could, but even then, we could see we were scraping through. And then obviously, as soon as the main man left, we can see the shit show that's now happening, yeah? How can people still be talking about the players, the managers? We've had numerous managers. We've had numerous players.
Scapegoats.
It's the same.
That's all it is.
I love the fact that... Are you guys seeing all this hype around the Spurs manager at the moment? Are you seeing it at the moment?
Whatever his name is.
I don't know much about him.
I can't wait in literally in about 10 in 6 or 7 games time. Watch Watch what happens. They're all going to be like, oh yeah, you need to go. Spurs are this. They're bottled us. The structure of that club also it hasn't been done properly, and that structure is failing. He was meant to be a shrewd businessman. That structure of that club is failing because again they've had to invest into the stadium, and they're going to face similar problems. It's like that cycle again. The same with United. I kind of knew we weren't going to get a result today. I prepared myself for it mentally, but I did say to you guys, look, we beat Forest, it paint over the cracks. We'll go to Arsenal, we'll lose, and I'll tell you what's going to happen now. We've got international break 2 weeks. Yeah, we're going to beat, I'll tell you what's going to happen. We're going to beat Brighton at home. We're going to beat Palace at home. And we're going to beat Palace in the Cup. We're going to win 3 games. And then, you know what's going to happen? Everyone's going to be like, you know what? Okay, this and that. Now, the Højlund effect, this is why I'm feeling a bit positive. He might really think, okay, I can take these guys to the next level again. And you know what? We might start to pick up better away form and stuff like that. But I'll be honest with you, our away form it's gonna only get like it's gonna stay like this unless something drastically changes. But that stems down to owners. All you got to do now is hope that the ownership announcement comes out soon, so it brings a little bit of a lift. The uncertainty sort of like goes, and these players are thinking long term about their careers and their what actually they want to do with their life. And little stories now. I mean, just add insult to injury. You finish the game today, you're already annoyed, you're upset with your team, and you're hearing breakout. How's this Sancho rumor come out today? Look at the timing of it.
Well, I don't think it's a rumor as such. The reporters asked Erik Ten Hag, where's Sancho? And he said, well, he hasn't been performing in training. So he's not here. But I think, with all due respect, I think Erik Ten Hag knows this. He's already seen this. Hence why he's been playing him on the bench. Do you know what I mean? But this is coming back to Erik Ten Hag just hasn't been backed to be able to make the changes. Like Rice today, he scores the goal. £105 million to spend on him.
And I thought I didn't think he played that well.
No, he wasn't. He was magnificent, but obviously he's a bit younger. He's got a bit of legs, so he's running around a bit like
he's got energy. Yeah,
he's got a bit of energy. Now that's what we bought Sofian Amrabat. Obviously he wasn't registered in time, and a lot. How was that not done way earlier?
And that's why I'm feeling
actually. Go on.
Sorry, go on.
Go on, Afsar.
Sorry, 1 second. Let me say.
All right, go on. Yeah, Tej, go.
I'm going to forget. All I was going to say is today, Maino plays and Amrabat play, yeah, and Højlund starts, and Højlund's played a couple of games. That is a completely different team, a completely different game, and that's why I'm not too worried, and that's why there's a lot of positives come, because genuinely, I'm going to make a statement here. It's going to sound wild, but Pep Guardiola did it with Barcelona for years, where he frustrated teams playing the way we did today with the keeper. Teams don't know whether to press, sit, or what. That phase of evolution of football, the next stage is the midfield bossing it. And at the moment, we don't have those players, or we don't have the structure. At the moment, it's just a shambles. But then I started thinking to myself, hang on, imagine Frankie de Jong there in the holding midfielder. Imagine he was there now. He'd be receiving it on the half turn every couple of minutes. He'd be dropping into that centre half position. And I'm thinking, okay, hang on a minute. Let's look at the wave of play here. And then I think to myself, you know what? Amrabat, the legs, when they are pressing, you've got him. You've got Amrabat. You've got Bruno. You've got Moore. Yeah, all of them. And you're thinking, shit, hang on a minute. We've got power. We've got stamina. We've got, you know what I mean? It's a threat. It's a powerful team.
And Tej, please bring me back onto that. Afsar, sorry, go on. You was going to say.
Yeah, man, I was just going to pick up on Amrabat. I was going to back up the Amrabat and Mainu makes it a completely different.
Yeah, it makes it completely different. You know what I mean? And Mason Mount, I think people forget, man. Mason Mount. Look, I know people are saying, "Oh, he's the right profile, the wrong player." Man's 24 years old. He's got the energy. He's got the running power. Do you know what I mean?
Do we know how long he's injured for? Do we know?
They say the international break. That's all I know. That's what I heard. So we got 2 weeks, 16th, September the 16th, our next game. My birthday, by the way. So please send me a shout out, send me some gifts and things like that. And Man United, please give me a victory. But you know what, Ted? Absolutely right. And I think, I think this is where Ten Hag's still remaining positive, because I'm seeing people, like I said, edit Ten Hag out, and then he's coming to the interview today. He's saying, okay. Martial, he did okay. he's trying to be positive about some of the players. You know, the performance was good, but the result wasn't right, and things like. What the fuck else are you meant to say? Like, do you want him to start burning, throwing all the players under the bridge, under the train line? Do you know what I mean? Under the bus. What else do you want him to say?
He's got to back his players, doesn't he?
Ted, like you just said, I'm not going to back up the whole. We're not going to be the next Barcelona, but I know that's not what you were saying. So I know that's not what you said. But like you said, you can see as Fergie always used to say. The title, you win your titles from your defense, and you know we were playing good from the back. You know, we weren't, like I said, we didn't give many chances away per se. You know, they attacked a bit through, but that midfield of Amrabat, Kobe Manu. Again, I've tweeted out people are sleeping on Kobe Manu, man. They don't realise what we've got on hand here. And then Mason Mount, they've got legs, they've got energy. They'd be running around in there, like, do you know what I mean? And I think that's what. And then you said Rasmus Højlund's come in as well. Garnacho, at the moment, he looks good when he comes off the bench. Do you know what I mean?
I was happy with Anthony. I'll be honest with you. People, I thought he was good, not just off the ball. Yeah,
as we talk about Anthony, people think Anthony is going to be Cristiano Ronaldo on the right-hand side. He's going to be this attacking winger. He was never
comparing him
that.
to Mahrez. They're comparing him to Mahrez, and they're comparing him to Mahrez and Robin. It's not. He's a different profile of player.
He was never that. Erik ten Hag knew what he would do. He buys a guy there who would hold the ball and bring the other players in. It was only unfortunate. I think he only got to play with Rasmus Højlund for a little bit, but that little period he was on, you could see what was happening. Like, do you know what I mean? You could see the threats that were going on. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So I think that's why Erik ten Hag has to remain positive.
I think. Boys, can I just jump in with some bad news?
Go on.
Oh, go on.
My Saudi boys have missed out again, man. Sergio Ramos, Sevilla. Here we go.
Oh, Sevilla. That's it.
He's going back.
I think. But it's a really sad state of affairs because what a great player, legend. He's going back to his boyhood club, but if
you don't see him go to Real Madrid, like Johnny Evans come to us,
you
don't see him go to Real Madrid.
Real Madrid have moved on.
Real Madrid have got the evolution, and you know what? Bellingham is fitting in nicely there. I'm telling you, he looks like a.
That's the player that we profiled. We wanted. We were one of the first teams to have gone there. Like again, Haaland, but we just not got the right. The right team above them to show them the pathway of this is what's going to happen. Again, that comes from the people that were employed. Again, go back to Pep. You know, Pep didn't realise, or there's some miscommunication that the Fergie went to say, what the fuck was Fergie going to tab up Pep? That's not Fergie's job. Do you know what I mean? And then Jurgen Klopp,
when Pep was on a sabbatical
before he went to Bayern Munich. Yeah.
And Fergie spoke to him, and then he went to Bayern, and
there's a mix-up there, and you didn't realise or whatever. And then Jurgen Klopp, you got Ed Woodward saying, "Oh yeah, the Disneyland of football, mate."
I love
you put those. You want to do you know what I mean?
But I love the fact that Gary Neville said, "I've got people at the club. They're telling me. Even the staff don't even know if they got a job." He said it on Sky Sports. He goes. Even the staff don't even know. He said it today. He goes. Even the staff don't even know if they got a job in a couple of months or 6 months down the line. It's just created that uncertainty, and it's a depressing state. And you know what? Genuinely. Everyone's criticising Maguire because he didn't want to take a 70 grand hit on his wages, and he didn't want to.
Why should he?
Why should he? But then, if you're Maguire, you're also thinking to yourself, you know what? Why the fuck what do I owe these lot? What do I really owe these lot? Yeah, and he's gonna, you know what I mean? So fair play to him.
Why should he be being paid 190? Let's round up to 200 grand a week. Go to West Ham United, where he's going to be paying 90 grand a week. There's a falling stature of club and wages.
Yeah.
Why?
And potentially loses his England spot as well. Potentially, maybe.
Can you just add a real world aspect into the Maguire thing? Not only will he lose a big chunk of his wages, he's going to move to a part of the country where the cost of living is substantially more.
Yeah, like as I mentioned in one of the podcasts before.
Out even more.
Yeah, exactly. One of the I said in a podcast before, whereby a tax advisor friend of mine, when the whole Villa thing, I don't know whether he was there, Ted. Do you know what I mean? This guy's bought his house. He was at Aston Villa. It's kind of maxed his mortgage out for what he gets paid, but then Villa get relegated, and he gets 40% reduction on his wages. So now my man can't afford to keep up his house.
Yeah, he can't.
Do you know what I mean? People forget they do live in the real world. But then, like I said, it's up to Manchester United to pay him off. If he's well within his right to stay there. Do you know what I mean? And he's saying no. Do you know what I mean? Why should Maguire give himself okay, Man United, no worry, I'll get a 50% reduction. At the end of the day, you paid him, you given him the contract. Do you know what I mean? If you don't want him,
But I don't
you'll
think
pay him
there's.
off.
I don't actually even with Arnold, and I genuinely don't believe that there's a clear dialogue between the players, the manager, then the board, and the people who are signing the players. Yeah, it might be like portrayed that way. I still think it's clear separation. Say we are this, you are that, and we will only talk with Ten Hag now. And you kind of feel like even with the recruitment of the way in which Ten Hag, the way he talks about players and stuff like, he almost feels like he's been that NDNA, that flipping shielding process again, that, better not say this, I can say this. And then you think even Ten Hag feels like he wants to say something, but he can't. And then you're thinking he's subliminally saying that what he needs to say on the pitch through the selections and through the way he's playing. And you know what? Garnacho today, I feel bad for the kid because you know what? He went from absolute hero there, and he would honestly, that would have really done his confidence massive. And then to have that taken away from you, it's hard on the kid, and it's a harsh lesson for him. I'm telling you, not to celebrate too early, but you could see the passion. Even the fans, they were ecstatic, and they thought, that's it, we're going to hold on here, we're going to get a result, because I think we would have won at that point if that goal stood. And I feel a bit bad for him, but yeah, I personally disagree with you on Bruno. I didn't think Bruno played that well today. I'll be honest with you. I sensed his frustration. I sensed that Bruno, so many times he did want to go. Like he was almost if he was told not to keep floating that ball long. And the amount of times Onana actually, when he did go long, lost the ball. So if you actually look at it, when he did go long, we lost the ball like 6-7 times.
I think that's just having the really right striker up front who's gonna, hold the ball up. Like when he's at Inter, things Edin Dzeko, Romelu Lukaku, who's gonna bully themselves, bully people around, and Rasmus was doing that when he came on as well.
He had a couple of big lads at Ajax as well, didn't he?
He had obviously the one who went to from West Ham, Hala, do you know what I mean?
And I think was Tadic in that side?
Tadic was there as well. He used to come off the wings and things of that nature. But look, I think obviously I can't talk more about the game. I think the general consensus is here we saw some positive signs, and like you said, Ted, we get some of those players back that are either injured or waiting to come, like Sofian Amrabat. And I think this midfield will look different. Do you know what I mean? And even Eriksen didn't do too bad, man. He done all right. Do you know what I mean? But you could just see when those changes were needed, when those youthful legs were needed, and that's the funny thing. The youth that came on done well. Garnacho, Rasmus Højlund, but then we had to turn to senior heads, Johnny Evans, and again, I'm not saying Maguire, but we all know his pace and things like that. So we had to change the way we played because of the personnel that came on. And I'm not going to blame Erik ten Hag for that because that wasn't his fault. He doesn't want these players here, and he's having to have them. Go on, Ted.
I'm going to put my neck out. I'm going to say something like fans can get all really bogged down by this result and get really negative. Look, we're probably look at the result. Look at the fixtures we got. We got 3 games on paper that I don't know about performance, but I think we can easily win. I genuinely do. And then I actually think who's the real share. If Spurs can go to Burnley and beat them 5-1, there's no reason why we can't go there and beat them. But on the 20th of September, we play Bayern Munich away. And if you fans were disappointed in today's result, buckle up for that game.
They're going to
buckle up for that game because that atmosphere, these players need to quickly get mentally strong enough, tough enough to deal with the adversity because I'm telling you, that stadium will eat you alive, right? And the fact Emirates, I personally think the fans were pretty crap today. I thought the fans were a little bit like, I didn't really see that much passion from only in the last 10 minutes. But at the Bayern Munich Stadium, they need to get prepared for that because it is going to be a hard place to go.
I can't talk about the players because I'll go back to it again, man. You can only do what you can do with the players that you've been given.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Just imagine Lindelof doesn't come back and Martinez doesn't come out and we don't know what the fuck is going on in front. We're left with Evans and Maguire and they're do you know what I mean? At the Allianz Arena. What are they going to do?
Yeah.
They're going to make Harry Kane look like the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Look, Harry Kane always smashes it against us anyway. Yeah, I mean, but then with this Bayern Munich team,
But he's got an even better team behind him.
Yeah, exactly what I'm saying.
I
The
mean?
likes of Musiala there and all the players that they got. I'm not gonna go.
But let's just touch on the board for a second,
is,
right?
Go on. Just before we go to the board, the
Go on.
key thing to remember with those fixtures is very rare do we play the best team first, and we're playing Bayern Munich first, and that is
Get them out of the way, man.
Yeah, get them out of the way. That gives you literally 3 games because we don't play them. We don't play
Does that
them.
mean we all play them last?
I think we play them
We
second
play
from last.
Third team,
yeah, we play the third team back to back or whatever.
Yeah.
So we've got 3 or 4 clear games to get qualification. 12 points, nothing more, nothing less. Just 12 points and get through. And I know you're thinking, well, what's the point if we're getting through? We're going to get knocked out. It should help. It's an important thing to definitely for these players to realize that, because I'm telling you, and this group, by me, we should be beating Galatasaray. You know what I mean? And
Copenhagen.
We should easily be beating them, and that's it. And then in terms of fixtures, they're going to be totting up now. I mean, have we got League Cup coming up in a couple of weeks as well?
Well, we've got that 2 weeks break. I mean, just before moving on to that, Tej, I think what I was going to touch upon, I think we've got these next 2 weeks now as such. I think there'll be stuff that's going to happen. I think we've been quite confident on this podcast in terms of the ownership and what's going to happen. I think we've said it before. Riz has mentioned it. We kind of said September. That's when we'll start hearing things. Then we've got this big gap in the 2-week gap now.
So just to touch on that, obviously the article came out last night from, I can't even remember the guy's name. He's that much of an irrelevant figure. Who, when I looked into him, I found out he was a Liverpool fan or a Liverpool reporter, and he can't even get Liverpool news right. And there was Liverpool fans bantering him in his own replies, right? So I thought, okay, it's complete BS. But then also the way his article was worded, the way his tweet was worded, you could just see through it. And I tweeted out saying, look, if anyone believes that, like, it's whipped up a frenzy, and if anyone believes this, then I don't know what to do for you. Because if you're saying that the club is not sold and it's taken off the market, the bidders would have known weeks ago. The Arab world, months ago, were congratulating Sheikh Jassim. They were reposting it on Instagram, putting it on their stories, on their tweets, taking pictures. The Arab world ain't going to do that and lose. Do you know what I mean? The Arab pride will not allow that to happen.
Yeah, I think I mentioned last time doing a podcast, I think people don't realise who the Arabs are. They don't lose. Not in that capacity. They don't go this far. That many people, that many high-profile people. You've got Khalifi as well, and the I'm going to call him the media Majid guy, the press guy, Majid. Yeah, who's giving
his tweet about the seatbelt.
It's the seatbelt on Qatar. He's obviously also sent out tweets with pictures of being in London, Manchester. United, part of Adidas, and he's put a picture on there and he's posted that. These guys don't do this just for no reason, and these are high-profile, powerful people who are connected to the Emir.
And this goes back to that positivity again, though. That is going to happen. It's clear. And hearing Gary Neville say as well, the fact that it's definitely happening, it's definitely going to happen. I just want it to be quicker now, because I look at the fixtures as well. Apart from Man City at the end of October, we can win our next 10 Premier League games. They're against teams who we can easily beat. Brighton, your Lutons, your Brentfords, your Burnley away, your Sheffield United away. We can beat these teams. We can put a run together. Luton's at home, Brentford's at home, Brighton's at home. Look at the fixtures. October, November, and September, we should be putting a run together of 8 to 10 games, and we should be going into that City game full of confidence. And we showed Ten Hag at home. He can compete with the best of them, and there's no reason why we can't get a result against City. If they're just not at it, or they'll be playing Champions League that week as well. They might not be 100% at it, and you know what? We could easily get a result there. So there's lots of positives. It'd be good if the news breaks out now. And you know what? We can just get it over the line. I'd be even more ecstatic if Martial's gone by Thursday. Is the Saudi window still open till Thursday? I'd be so happy to just see the guy go. Even if it meant we didn't have a striker, we just played some kid or we played anybody else. I'd love to see. I actually feel bad for him. Did you see how sad he was sat on the bench Like it was like a relief, but he was just like, "What am I doing here? Like, what am I doing? That's a striker. I'm not a striker."
Mate, I feel sorry for the fans and Eric Ten Hag, more importantly, who has to turn to him.
I feel sorry for the lads who have to train with him every day. They're probably thinking, "Who the hell is this dickhead?" Like, we bought him on so much promise. Like, and I compared him in a previous podcast to Mario Balotelli. All the promise in the world, all this ability, zero attitude, zero application, and no one can convince me otherwise. And the sad thing is, Balotelli still had a great career because, well, he won titles at City, so do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I also
just let's run it back to the Qataris for 1 second.
Yep.
Because there's a little rumor going around that there's an update coming potentially between the 3rd and the 14th of September, which Hobbs, bit of an early birthday present for you, bro. So I ain't getting you nothing now.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, you don't need to get me nothing for the next year or two if the Qatari news comes out. Look, it makes the most sense, doesn't it? I think Neil Custis touched upon it as well. The Reuters have obviously talked about, you know.
Well, Custis said announcement coming and deal completed by October. So that sort of lines up with that. The irrelevant guy, said United want 10 billion. That's the first time we've ever heard that figure.
10 billion.
We've heard other people say that this will be up to 10 billion. I said it a long time ago. I think just for the purposes of a headline, so that the New York Stock Exchange or whoever runs the story can say $10 billion takeover. I do believe it will be 10 billion in some currency, just so it can be slapped on a headline, on a front page and on a back page.
Yeah, it's all manipulation of stocks and shares and whatnot, media coverage.
Well, they'll do what they did with Chelsea. They'll throw in the debt repayment.
Yeah.
They'll throw in, obviously, the bond that he's put aside for the club, and they'll throw in, obviously, pledged investment, and that'll be what takes it from 7.3 to 10 point whatever, and they'll just go, "Oh, it's 10 billion."
I think it'll be an interesting couple of weeks coming up, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm glad it's international break. Last thing I want is to play again. I think genuinely it's good. Hopefully the window fully closed, everything, no more transfer business, and we know what's going on. Any players who are going to depart and go can go, and then that's it now. But I also think that news should come out this month, at least from the owners, just something. Do us that honestly, and think, even if it's something as simple as, look, there is stuff now working on. We have a deadline in place for this. Anything, but I'm not feeling too optimistic about the owners coming out. But I'm hopeful that an announcement will be made soon. In terms of obviously finishing up on that note, in terms of my opinions on today's game, gutted, but lots of positives, lots to take away, and I think that we will put a run together of about 8 to 10 wins in the next couple of months. But I'm not going to say if we're going to beat Man City because
no,
I don't know.
You know what? I think if we get some positive news about the owners, like I said, to me, it makes the most logical sense now that the transfer window is closed. So, you know, there's no embargo on any transfers in or out of the club with the announcement and, you know, the signing of the club over to Sheikh Jassim, because I firmly believe that's who will be getting the club. But like I said, I just want to remind people again, you know, before we end the show, the Glazers have been here for so long, and we can see, like I says, it always goes back to the Glazers. Yes, some of the players might not be good enough. Yes, obviously, tactics can sometimes go awry, but at the end of the day, you can only work with what you've got. We've got a manager who's forward-thinking, who's been successful at all the clubs he's been at as well, you know, shows what he does and progresses the team, exactly what we need as well. He's shown it last year. He's won a trophy with us last year as well. And I think to a fan, we've all agreed that we've not got the players that we needed to have got. Yeah. So to be turning on either the players or the manager, you're just going to go back to the same cycle again. So concentrate your energy, put your energy in towards and aiming at the likes of the Glazers. Okay, the Glazers are many, many thousands of miles away. Okay, we've got the board here, the likes of Richard Arnold, John Murto. We should be making them accountable. I mean, obviously, there's no violence or anything of that nature. We will not condone that. But we've seen factually what happens and what makes the Glazers talk.
Yeah.
You've got games that get stopped for whatever reason. You've got precedents in other countries as well where games and fans do not turn up and things happen on the back of that. Now, for the last 18 plus years, we've been saying Glazers out, Glazers out, Glazers out. Do you know what I mean? Things have to be changed. We have to think of new ideas. Fans and organisations that are saying Glazers out, in and out of the ground, fantastic. That's what it should be. But again, when other fans or other people coming up with new ideas and possibilities of looking on how to make the change, again, going back to what Gary Neville says, change needs to be made because obviously, there's no cohesion. Every possibility should be either thought about and spoken about. And if people say it can't be done, we need to have a rational discussion as to why it can't be done.
I agree.
You know what I mean? But like I says, I'm going to end it there because I don't think that, like I says, until the ownership changes, there's not much more that's going to happen on the pitch. And I think that's why, like Ted and myself as well, I think the Afzal as well, we know no point getting hurt because this is going to happen. We're going to get a few good results and then we're going to go back to square one again. Yeah?
Yeah.
I think, like I says, let's focus our energy on the board, on the Glazers. Let's get them out. And hopefully the next time we do our next podcast, we'll have some kind of news, some positive news that can filter through to the whole club and the fans. And I think we can start partying, man.